It's Friday, August 18th, 2023. Welcome to episode 66 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, the Alameda Police Department's statistics for July show improvement, but a viral online challenge is raising some concerns. The public is invited to comment on proposed changes to the capital improvement plan that allows landlords to pass improvement costs on to tenants. Bay Farm School starts the year with a brand new building as improvements to the waterfront trail disrupt pedestrians and cyclists for a few weeks. With pandemic policies winding down, student loans are coming due, and the Alameda Anchors are looking for high school-aged baseball players as they form two new teams. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story. Back in episode 63, we discussed the June crime statistics released by the Alameda Police Department. Well, July's statistics are out, and for the most part, there has been improvement. Catalytic converter thefts continue to fall, with 16 reported in July, more than a 50% reduction from the 34 in June. Auto thefts fell slightly from 106 to 94, but still above the May total of 92. The most stolen vehicles? Hyundai Elantras and Mazda 3s. Oddly, Tuesdays and Fridays are apparently busy days for car thieves. Robberies fell from 12 to 6, with no robberies reported in any of Alameda's business districts. Overall, total calls for service rose slightly to 6,209, but reports taken dropped from 759 to 699. Fortunately, collisions are down after last month's spike. July saw 59 collisions, down from 75, but still above May's total of 52. For a complete look at the statistics, including links that will allow you to take a deeper dive into crime numbers here on Alameda, see alamedapost.com/news. While you're there, you can also check out the schedule for APD's ongoing community beat meetings. Detergent pods, sunburn tattoos, choking. There have been some viral internet challenges that just remind me of one of my favorite lines from the movie Aliens.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
Well, there's another one, and we're seeing enough of it that the APD has put out a notice asking parents to talk to their children about the hazards of participating in viral challenges. The current challenge that's raising eyebrows has been around for a while, but seems to have picked up steam lately: shooting at complete strangers with BB guns. If this sounds familiar, you may be remembering the Orbeez challenge, which encouraged people to shoot water gel pellets at passersby. So far, APD has reported no injuries, but other jurisdictions have noted cases of victims being struck in the eye, a potentially dangerous situation. These incidents mostly happen in the afternoon and early evening. Hopefully, with school back in session, we will see these incidents begin to diminish. But until then, at the risk of being obvious, take a moment to tell your kids that it's really not acceptable to shoot people, even if it's just a BB gun. Find the story at alamedapost.com/news. You might remember that back in May, the City Council placed a moratorium on the Capital Improvement Plan, the procedure that allows landlords to pass along the costs of facility improvements to tenants. The moratorium affected those properties with 25 or more dwelling units. Since then, city staff have been gathering input from property owners and tenant groups. Now, with some proposed changes in mind, the city is seeking your input and is hosting a community meeting at 6 p.m. on Monday, August 28th at City Hall. The meeting serves solely as an informational one. City Council will not be taking any action at the meeting, nor will the city clerk be keeping minutes. If you'd like to make your voice heard on this topic, you can attend the meeting in person, or if you prefer to attend via Zoom, you will find the registration link at our article at alamedapost.com/news. School's back in session. The students at Bay Farm School have a new building. 4 temporary portable structures have been replaced with a 4,000 square foot facility containing 4 classrooms, as well as an outdoor teaching patio and landscaped courtyard. In the wake of pandemic, a lot of attention being paid to ventilation in modern building. The new Bay Farm building features windows for natural light and ventilation, as well as independent HVAC systems for heating and cooling. Another key consideration during the design process was the poor soil at the site. Designers mitigated the loose soil, which can be a risk factor in earthquakes, by using deep pier foundations that anchor the building into bedrock. In addition, a concrete apron around the building extends the foundation and will prevent settlement on the walkways around the building. The structure was paid for using funds from Measure I Facilities Bond, which was approved by voters in 2014. For a look at the new building, both inside and out, see alamedapost.com/news. While you're on Bay Farm, take note if you're a regular user of the waterfront trail along Shoreline Park. The city is in the process of widening and repaving the trail, necessitating the sequential closure of 2 sections of the trail between now and early September. Work has already begun on Phase 1, which runs roughly from Sheffield Road to Packet Landing. Expected completion for Phase 1, August 25th. Phase 2 will begin when Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 runs from Packet Landing to Veterans Pier. Look for that work to be finished by September 8th, although the city is hoping for an earlier completion date. To see the affected areas as well as trail detours, head over to alamedapost.com/news. Among the many items that came to a screeching halt in March of 2020, student loan interest accrual and repayment. With the end of the state of emergency has come the end of just about every pandemic-era program. Now that includes student loan provisions. Assemblymember Mia Bonta is reminding her constituents that interest accrual on student loans will begin in September, with payments resuming in October. So now's the time to budget for that expense that you might have forgotten about. There are still programs in place to help. If you work in government or the nonprofit field, you may qualify for up to $20,000 in debt relief. Additionally, there are programs available for deferral and income-based payment adjustment. For more information on these programs, as well as other programs available to California residents, see alamedapost.com/news. Last weekend, the Alameda Anchors baseball team made it to the semifinals of the West Coast World Series before being eliminated by the West Coast Kings, the same team that handed them the initial loss that put the Anchors in the losers bracket of the double elimination tournament. There is also some consolation in knowing that you lost to the eventual tournament champions. Still, quite the inaugural season for the Anchors, the Bay Area Collegiate League title and a semifinal appearance in the West Coast World Series. Up next, expanding its success to high school-age baseball players. Anchors owner, general manager Tony Sacacci had this to say, quote, "We are creating competitive high school-age teams with a focus on development and learning the game," end quote. The two new Anchors-affiliated teams will participate in the East Bay Fall League and will play in 3 tournaments, including the Desert Fall Classic in Las Vegas and the New Year's Baseball Fest in Mesa, Arizona. Home field, College of Alameda's Pat Bale Field. Tryouts for the new teams, age 18 and under and 16 and under, will be held on Saturday, August 26 from 4 to 6 p.m. at Pat Bale. You can find more details, including the full schedule for the new teams, at alamedapost.com/features. In other baseball news, Alameda's Brian Wu looks to return from the injured list next week. He was scheduled to throw a bullpen session Thursday. If all goes well, he'll be back in the rotation next week as the Mariners chase a wild-card playoff berth. Going into Thursday's action, they were 1/2 game behind the Blue Jays for that final wild-card spot. If you're a regular listener, you know I have a soft spot for all things beer. As I've mentioned before, Santa Cruz's Humble Sea Brewing is preparing to open a tap room on Alameda Point, just next to Saltbreaker Restaurant in the Storehouse Lofts building. An interesting development in the Humble Sea story. While it appears the new location will be opening very soon, Humble Sea just unexpectedly closed their tavern in Felton, California, about a year and a half after opening it. Pure speculation on my part, but it would appear that Humble Sea wants to be truly focused on the new Alameda facility. Looking forward to the latest addition in Alameda's thriving beer culture. While we're on the subject of beer, time to start thinking about blues, brews, and barbecue. Yes, the festival returns to Washington Park September 17th after last year's abrupt cancellation. Details at alamedapost.com/events. Our walking history tours continue this Saturday. Join Dennis Evanosky for a stroll along the city's northern waterfront, home to major shipbuilding sites for most of the first half of the 20th century. Dennis will untangle a complicated story that involves United Engineering Works, James Dickey, Union Iron Works, and the Bethlehem Shipping Company. We'll see the sites where these massive ships were built and launched and discuss what has become of that area since the shipbuilding industry waned. Meet at 10 a.m. at the foot of Mariner Square Drive, just east of Pasta Pelican. For tickets and details, visit alamedapost.com/tours. To prepare for the tour, check out Dennis's article, Shipbuilding on Alameda's North Shore, at alamedapost.com/history. Also on Saturday the 19th, don't forget the West Alameda Business Association's Bohemian Summer Celebration, with food, music, art, all capped off with a concert by Fleetwood Macrame. Also on the 19th, pour your heart out as Rhythmix Cultural Works presents their fundraiser for Youth Arts program from 4 until 7:30. Details for both events at alamedapost.com/events. Also on our events page, The Birds continues at Altarena Playhouse. Stage version of the Daphne du Maurier short story that inspired the Hitchcock film runs through September 10th. The Frank Bett Center continues their annual En Plein Air exhibit. You may have seen artists painting all over Alameda earlier this month. Now come see the results. Exhibit runs through the end of September. Don't forget the Saturday Farmers Market, 9 until 1. Sunday morning at 10, get your Pilates workout in and enjoy a freshly poured pint afterwards at the Rake at Admiral Maltings. When you're finished, take in the Head West Marketplace at St. George Spirits from 11 until 5. As always, full details on things to do at alamedapost.com/events. Thank you for supporting local news for Alameda. Join us as a member, alamedapost.com/memberships. Remember, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Mastodon, as well as our own subreddit. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler. I'll be back next Friday with episode 67 of the Alameda Postcast.